name is Flore Wouters. I'm a business development manager e-commerce for Smurfit Kappa. I joined the Smurfit Kappa group in 2018 after working in marketing research and packaging innovation for a few years. When joining Smurfit Kappa, I first focused on consumer packaging, but I started tapping more and more in the e-commerce business. And today I'm focusing 100% of my time on e-commerce projects and clients. So during this webinar, we will go a bit deeper into the world of sustainable e-commerce packaging. We will do this by sharing how we at Smurfit Kappa incorporate sustainability in all our activities. Afterwards, we will zoom in on the new consumer, as this is a really important person when it comes to sustainability. Then I will cover the touch points of packaging and how to apply sustainable thinking to them. And we will also link this to a business case. Last but not least, we will also give you 10 very practical tips that you can easily apply to your packaging portfolio. And of course, afterwards, there will be time for some questions and interaction. Smurfit Kappa. We are mainly known as a packaging supplier. And of course, this is a big part of our business, but we are not just a packaging supplier. We're actually a circular organization. So this means that we sustainably grow our own forests, that we have our own recycling plants, and we have our own paper mills. And these paper mills use fibers from our forests and recycled paper from our recycling plants to make new paper that's then used in our packaging business. So this allows us to really maintain a closed loop production. I can proudly say that we really aim for the highest standard of sustainability in every aspect of our organization, and that the sustainability, it's not just a campaign or one among other brand values. No, sustainability is really part of the DNA of our company, and this on a global scale. So the new consumer. Today, sustainability isn't optional anymore. Gen Z and millennials have now a combined buying power of more than 50%. They shop very different compared to previous generations, where millennials have laid the foundation of sustainable shopping. Gen Z even takes this further. They want to know where the goods are coming from, who has made them, what's in it, more importantly, what's not in it, and who benefits from their purchase. But on the other hand, they are also willing to pay a premium for it. So especially Gen Z is looking for goods that make them feel less guilty about their own consumption, and they need a story to justify their purchase. This generation is also omnipresent, so there's no boundary between on and offline, and they expect you to be omnipresent too, and your story needs to be very consistent. So every interaction needs to be meaningful. And the moment that your package arrives in their home is, of course, a very close interaction. It's kind of a moment of truth. So what you promised online during the ordering process is now showing on their doorstep. In terms of packaging, these new consumer traits translate mainly into a need for less packaging, and packaging that is in proportion with the goods packed. So we did a consumer study in collaboration with thuiswinkel.nl, and we found out that 7 in 10 consider it very important that web shops use less packaging, and almost 60% of shoppers is even annoyed by packaging that is not in proportion. So as your product delivery is the moment you enter in the home of your shoppers, of course, it's super important to make this experience as pleasant as possible, and you don't want to annoy them. This is why we always aim for packaging that is sustainable in what we call at every touch point. So It's not enough to just use cardboard or to just limit air transported or to just print an FSC logo on it. Actually, every aspect needs to work together and create a kind of symbiosis. And also every step your pack will take needs to be considered. A packaging process starts with the ideation. So when you are thinking about new packaging, and at this moment, you already need to think about the moment that your pack will arrive in the home of your shoppers. What do you want to tell them when you arrive? How will they open it? How will they use it? So the pack, has it also a function as a storage box, or do they need to get rid of it right away? How can you ensure a smooth disposal of the pack? And what do you want to communicate with them when you meet them at home? So you have a rare moment of a one-on-one communication going on there. So it would be good to use this moment to reinforce your brand story. Then when you start the concept development and the production phase, the design plays a huge role in the sustainability of your pack. Of course, protection is the most important requirement of packaging, and it will always be like that. But by choosing for a smart design, protection does not need to be a synonym for overpacking. Also, we always aim for monomaterial packaging, as this really facilitates the disposal of the packaging, and it also ups the recycling rate. The type of material you use is, of course, very critical as well. Even within corrugated, there's a big difference. A brown test liner does not have the same characteristics as a white craft liner. So which type of corrugate will you use? The source of the paper is also very important. Where does it come from? Has it the right certificates? Maybe you can choose a supplier who is a bit closer to home to reduce your CO2 footprint. Then take into consideration if the paper is being recycled and if the packaging is recyclable, and get a pack that is fit for purpose. You don't need to pack a book in the same type of paper as you would pack a crystal vase, because they don't need the same type of protection. So take this in consideration when constructing your packaging. Then when the pack is made, it goes into supply chain. In supply chain, of course, we look a lot at air reduction. So how we can reduce air during transport. But also this needs, of course, needs to be in relation to the complexity of your packaging portfolio, because you can't have a different box for every item you ship. So you can ask your supplier to calculate the ideal sizes for your boxes and the ideal amount of different sizes. Then your inbound packaging, this can also be looked at through sustainable glasses. Maybe there are some improvements to be made there too. And the same goes for your palletization. It can be that by having a slightly different by adding slightly different requirements in terms of palletization, that you can add a lot more boxes on one pallet, and this, of course, impacts your CO2 footprint. And then, of course, also the transport methods. Then the package goes into the home of your shopper, and this is the moment where you can really win your customers and where your efforts can pay off. Now, a first-time shopper can become a loyal supporter because of a frustration-free delivery. Because frustration-free delivery leads to brand support. Also, make your sustainability efforts visible. communicate about them. Think about how you will present yourself there. How will they open the box? Will the packaging be disregarded right away? Will they use it to store your product? Can you think about another second life for the box? And if the product is, of course, not what your shopper has wished for, make sure return instructions are very clear. And this is all a very smooth process. Of course, always aim for boxes that are fully recyclable, because then we can add them again to our closed loop after they had their function. How does this goes into practice? We will show you with an example of a project we did together with Ecover last year. This was done for a new product launch in the UK, and refuse single use basically was the tagline through this whole project. I think most of you know Ecover. Ecover is a very sustainable brand and enterprise. So they are sustainable at every level. Every aspect of their organization is being valued from a sustainable point of view. They were really early adopters when it comes to refills and using recycled bottles. But they are always trying to do better and to reinvent themselves. So the current bottles have around 90% of water and 10% of active ingredients, which is, by the way, an industry-wide fact. It's not only Ecover, it's always this is always the case for products like this. But Ecover don't like shipping water around the world because most people have a tap at home and they can just take water at home. Also, even if the material is recycled, so the recycled plastic bottles, their bottles are still single use. Most of their consumers will throw away the bottle when it's empty. And Ecover would like to get rid of single-use plastic entirely. So the first order of business with such a new project is for us is listening. We need to listen to the needs of the project, the goals and the ambition. For this project, we had to create a pack that was free of plastics, that carried only the active ingredients of their products. And they also didn't want microplastic going into the sewage. So the active ingredients, which was like a powder formula, was packed in paper bags, fully soluble and harmless for the wastewater. This gave us a second challenge because the pack had to be plastic free, but also water resistant, because we did not want the powder bags to solute in during transport already. And also for the convenience of the shoppers, everything had to fit in a mailbox because this makes the product ideal for subscription-based deliveries. A lot of questions were asked on both sides. A lot of research was done. And for this project, even with different parties involved, the product and the pack have to support each other here on so many levels. So we were really like co-creating, co-designing the product as well as the packaging. Then when the briefing was all clear and the research was done, we start a concept and ideation phase. So a lot of design routes are being explored and evaluated in this phase. Then we make a short list of qualified designs and we do tests. In this case, the tests were mainly on the moist barrier. So we had to develop a sustainable moist barrier, feasibility in production on our side and on their side, and mailbox sizes, because the project started in the UK, but it had to be applicable for most of Europe. So we had to test a lot of European mailboxes. This product also requires quite some guidance it's a new product, so you need to instruct shoppers on how to use it. And we didn't want to put an extra leaflet to make it as lightweighted as possible and to use at least amount material as possible. So the pack also had the function to inform the user at home. Then when a final design route is chosen and finalized, the development and production phase starts. This is a more technical phase, but it's super important to get the results you intended in phase 2. Here we will fine-tune the design, make sure it's suitable for production, that all technical requirements are met, that the logistics are arranged, and then there is a pre-press round to get the print finalized for production. And then there's a hard go for production and delivery. But a project, for us, a project doesn't stop after delivery. We believe that good can always become better. And your product portfolio probably isn't static, so your packaging shouldn't be either. The same goes for our capabilities. A lot is happening in the market, and it's beneficial for everybody to keep on communicating. Also, we need to be honest, after some time in the market, we might discover some improvement points on the current packaging, and I believe we should not be too shy to share them with each other. Because being critical can really lead to big successes. As you can see here on this slide, our process is an ongoing one. Of course, a project is not always as active. Sometimes it's more active than other times, but a packaging portfolio should be evolving, just like a product portfolio and a brand is. So this brings us already to the last part of my presentation, the 10 commandments of packaging, 10 practical tips which you can easily apply to your packaging. And yeah, I hope they will inspire you when rethinking your packaging portfolio. First of all, and this is very important, start your design by thinking about the end of the packaging life cycle. So the disposal, reuse, second life of your packaging should be a key requirement of your pack. Then, secondly, make it suitable for the products inside. So smart design can make boxes suitable for more product sizes. Discuss this with your packaging designer. If you can avoid filling materials, you avoid costs, and you avoid frustration on the shopper's side. Then third one is explore possibilities to ship your product in its primary packaging. It might be possible that with some minor tweaks, you don't need an extra shipping box. So it's an option worth exploring. Then the fourth one, I already mentioned it before, but I think it's a very important one. Think monomaterial. Going monomaterial makes disposal way easier, so it creates less frustration on the shopper side, and it ups the recycling rate. Monomaterial should be, I think, a guiding principle for all your packaging designs. Then the fifth, fit in. You can save yourself a lot of money and hustle by fitting in the standard dimensions of your carrier of choice. So just make sure you know them and try to fit within them. Number 6 is about protection. So yeah, protection really is the main function of packaging. Get it right. Underpacking leads to waste of products and frustration, but overpacking leads to waste of raw material and also frustration. So make sure your supplier has all the info about your product journey, and about your ways of transport, so they can calculate, they have the tools for it, they can calculate the right protection needed. And the next point, lucky number 7, keep talking to your packaging supplier. Make sure you know each other. Make sure you know each other's capabilities, requirements, ways of working. Businesses are evolving rapidly. Make sure that you know about each other's innovations, so your packaging can evolve together with your product portfolio and your brand. Then number 8 is the connection with your shoppers. So use your packaging for it. You have this one-on-one moment with your shopper, with your key audience. Use this moment. Make them smile, make it a celebration moment, make them feel connected, make them feel included. This is where you can build loyalty and where you can win. Also, shoppers does not know by themselves that you did a lot of sustainable efforts. Communicate about them. Communicate about your efforts you did in regards to sustainability. It really leads to more shopper loyalty. Then the 9th, packaging suppliers have a lot of tools. Use them. They're there for you. So most suppliers have tools to optimize CO2 footprint, to calculate your ideal box sizes and references, which is especially handy if you often do multiple product shipments, or if you ship products that are really varied in size. So they can, based on your data of your shipments of the last months, they can calculate which box sizes that cover most of your shipments without adding too much air. And they also have tools to optimize the recyclability of your packaging. So use them. It can give you a lot of information and insight. And then the last one, be critical to your supplier, to your portfolio, to your carrier, to the project team. Constructive criticism can lead to big success. Dare to challenge the parties involved. We actually like that. So, the next slide. I hope this inspired you to rethink your current packaging portfolio. If you have any questions, or if you need more information on a certain topic or a certain industry, please reach out. You can reach out by mail or LinkedIn, and we're happy to discuss. Then all what we discussed today is just to show you it's not only based on theory and research. Most of it is based on our own experience. We're lucky to work with various industries, and this really allows us to get a deep understanding of the different needs. As you can see, we work with companies in different fields like fashion, FMCG, alcoholic beverages, meal boxes, marketplaces, e-fulfillment, many more. From startup, scale-up, global brands. It's very varied, and this is why it's so insightful to us. And then we are at the end of my presentation. So if you have questions, ask them. I'm happy to hear about them.
I have a question.
Okay.
You talked about younger generations being sustainable and care about sustainable packaging also. But do you think there's also a change with the older generations, or just the younger people?
No, there's definitely also a change in older generations. It's all generations are way more critical when it comes to sustainability. But I think with the younger generations, it's even more mandatory. It's like a basic requirement. But yeah, of course, you will always have some differentiators as well. So there might also be older people that for whom it's mandatory as well. But in general, I think for the younger generations, it's more like a basic requirement. Okay, but then I think we're done.
Okay, yeah.
Or are there some other questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I want to thank you for your presentation, for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much for having us. And yeah, if you have a question afterwards, just reach out and we'll be happy to help.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Too.
Bye.